Story 1. If I am procrastinating on a task, I often set a timer and tell myself I will work on it until the timer rings. I am usually finished or motivated enough to continue until completion. Story 2. Lightweight cordless stick vacuum is a game changer. Grab it and quickly clean a room without being too thorough while you are waiting for water to boil or doing other tasks. My house is much cleaner with frequent, quick vacuuming here and there than when I put off using the big vacuum to do a proper job. Story 3. Get the same pair of socks multiple times. No time is wasted pairing them up. Just grab 2 from the drawer. Story 4. Passive cleaning changed my life. Every time I leave a room in the house, for example, moving from the kitchen to the bedroom, I try to grab at least 1 or 2 things that need to be put away. Doing small tasks throughout the day adds up. I try to always think, one less thing I have to do later. Story 5. Do chores in a comfortable way. If you need to sit on the floor while folding laundry, do it. If you want to sit on a chair while washing dishes, do it. That little extra effort makes the task much less daunting. Story 6. Sometimes, if you do not answer emails immediately, people find their own answers, so you do not have to take any action. Story 7. It is actually much easier to do things properly the first time than to deal with ongoing difficulties caused by cutting corners. Story 8. Make food in double batches and freeze the portion you don't eat. Cook and prepare once, eat 2 or 3 times. Story 9. If a new task comes down from above at work and seems absolutely insane, put it off for a few hours or a day. Very often, the person who relayed it had the wrong understanding, and you will receive a clarification later indicating that you do not really need to do it. Story 10. I exercise in bed in the morning before I get up. I do lots of stretches, leg lifts in different directions, and swirl my arms to make the letters of the alphabet. I have arthritis, and this helps warm up my muscles. Bridges also help keep my leg muscles active. Story 11. Parenting means teaching children to do things for themselves rather than doing things for them. Story 12. 1. Everything gets a basket. I have laundry baskets for clothes that have been worn once or twice but are not dirty enough to put in the washer, yet not clean enough to hang up. I have another basket for clothes that need to be put away but I have not gotten around to yet. There are baskets for toys, miscellaneous items, crafts, or art pieces in progress. Everything gets a home that can be tidied within 5 seconds. Everything stays tidy without much effort. 2. I deep clean one thing a day in addition to a quick daily tidy. For example, I scrub the bathrooms once a week, so dirt and grime do not build up. I usually schedule a weekly cleaning of everything so that detailed cleanings take 20 minutes at most. Story 13. Observing how problems develop. Most of the time, situations do not require my input. Therefore, I stay out of the way, allow events to unfold, and adjust if necessary. Story 14. Playing video games for around 30 minutes, sometimes an hour, in the morning before doing anything productive. I just drink some coffee and play some games. When I do not do this, I struggle to get my brain juices flowing. It may seem lazy, but it helps me kickstart my day. Story 15. Do not give 100% to a new job. Your supervisor will think 100% is normal, and when you start to slip, it looks like you are getting worse. If you start lazy, your supervisor will tell you if you need to improve. Then you can actually apply yourself, or they might be absolutely fine with your slack since you are in training and be delighted you are improving. Story 16. I have a rolling garment rack I bought at Target for about $10. I roll it out to the living room to hang up my laundry while I watch television, then roll it into the bedroom to put it away, and finally back into the laundry room when I am done. I also use hanging bins for items that do not need a hanger, such as yoga pants, athletic tops, socks, underwear, and tights. We have a large walk-in closet, so we do not use a dresser. I do not have the will to hang up more than necessary, so I make laundry as easy as possible. Otherwise, I avoid it until I have a large amount to do. Story 17. For any task that has multiple steps, my to-do list has a start X and finish X instead of just X. Story 18. Do all the housework while relaxed. Feels less like a chore, and you pay attention to fine details. When you are sober, your house is clean. Story 19. My lazy habit is brushing my teeth to prevent snacking. I had a bad habit of late-night snacking, so I started brushing my teeth earlier in the evening. This helped me stop snacking because I do not want to brush twice. Story 20. I reuse a lot of cookware during the day. A pan used for toasting bread in the morning, I keep it there and use it throughout the day for other dishes such as curries and ramen. Story 21. I call it the Forrest Gump trick. I tell myself, I am going to fold one towel. And when I do, I say, I folded one towel. I might as well do another one since I'm here. I repeat that over and over, and before I know it, all of the towels are folded. I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and it is hard for me to start tasks. Once I start, I am good. My brain, folding 15 towels? That will take forever. Ugh. My brain, folding one towel? Easy. One of the reasons why people with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder have difficulty starting tasks is because of difficulties with planning, organization, and time management. Folding one towel makes it easier for me to comprehend time management and organization. I also do this at the gym. I hope I am making sense. Story 22. Buy a second similar item if you can. It will come in handy if you lose it or cannot find the same one later. I bought the same pair of shoes twice. 2 years later, I am glad I did. Story 23. I have typed a list of most of the groceries we buy, in order of the aisles they are found in at our favorite store. Each week I circle what we need and add anything else we might need. People have made fun of it, but I spend about 30 minutes creating it 16 years ago. Maybe once every couple of years I add or subtract an item or two. I think I am a genius. It also made it easy when my husband started doing most of the shopping. Story 24. If you have children, as soon as they can walk, have them fetch things for you and teach them to throw away their diapers and small pieces of trash. You have to get up less often and they enjoy doing tasks. It builds their self-esteem. It is a win-win. If you do not have children but are around them, this will also work with older children. They love to help. Story 25. Do not rewind your video home system tapes after watching them. Rewind before watching. This way, the timer on the video cassette recorder counts down the remaining time. I may be a few months late with this tip. Story 26. Here is a strategy that sounds industrious but actually allows me to be lazier over time. Spend 5 to 10 minutes at the end of the day to reset the house. 5 to 10 minutes every day prevents things from getting out of hand and reduces the need for a big cleaning session as often. It has been a game changer for me, my husband, and my children. We do it together as a sweet family ritual. Story 27. Soaking dishes in the sink. Now, I'm not talking days here. I put a coffee cup in around breakfast and top it off with water. Plates or bowls from lunch, silverware goes in the coffee cup. After cooking dinner, I put pans in the sink with water if they are cool enough. Then I rest and digest, watch a show, and wash all the dishes. This works well because it is a small household, mostly just my partner's and my dishes. I have never had to scrub silverware, and pans are easy to clean. I admit this becomes too much if you have children, but that was my other lazy habit. Do not have children. That is helping me retire 10 years early, which by definition means less work. Story 28. Every time I have to perform a new household maintenance task, I take the time to make a cup of tea first. It takes me out of blind panic and stops me from overthinking. My partner thinks I am trying to procrastinate. Story 29. Hear me out. Clean the kitchen before cooking or baking. I do not keep the kitchen immaculate throughout the day. That is the lazy part. But when I am ready to make a meal or do some baking, I clean the counters, fill the basin with fresh hot soapy water, line up my ingredients and tools, and it is a million times easier to keep up with the new mess I am making. It takes just a few minutes and reduces the visual and physical clutter that interrupts my cooking or baking flow. Story 30. For small items that you often misplace and search for, buy multiple and place them wherever you might look. In my house, you can find chapsticks and nail clippers in every drawer, and a phone charger in every room. Story 31. You don't have to complete the entire chore at once. For example, if I want to clean the bathroom, I can just wipe the sink one day for 5 minutes, then return another day to scrub the toilet. Breaking chores into sections has made my house much cleaner with less effort and more motivation to actually clean, instead of letting it get grimy until I have the strength to spend an hour on the task. Another helpful habit is to use a slow cooker. You can put in frozen vegetables, chicken, or other ingredients before work or before going to sleep, and then wake up or come home to a whole meal while doing other tasks or resting. This has helped me avoid spending money on fast food when I'm too tired to cook, get vegetables into my diet, and eat more balanced meals with leftovers. Also, the classic advice, don't put items down, put them away. This saves a lot of clutter from accumulating. Story 32. Doing just 5 minutes of a dreaded task sounds lazy, but it tricks your brain into starting. Once you begin, you keep going. This works for cleaning, studying, workouts, or anything. It is the minimum effort, maximum result hack. Story 33. Doing something halfway is infinitely better than doing nothing. Gargle for 30 seconds instead of brushing your teeth. Better than not cleaning your teeth at all. Wet your hair in the sink and brush it instead of showering. Better than not cleaning your hair at all. Story 34. It is okay to have a bunch of pillows in your bed because then you get regular support as well as back support. It is okay to make yourself comfortable while you are sleeping. Story 35. In a car, coasting to a stop rather than continuing to accelerate into a known stop point, such as a red light or stop sign, from as far away as possible gets you 2 to 3 extra days of gas per tank. Story 36. I don't know if it's a habit, but I struggle a lot with joint pain and my lower back. There are certain household tasks that I sometimes find difficult to complete. I have learned to adapt the chores to help myself. For example, when I do the dishes, I use a bar stool to sit on if my back is in more pain than usual. This allows me to get them done even during a flare-up. I had to learn that just because they are chores, it doesn't mean I have to suffer through them. You are allowed to adapt tasks to be able to complete them. Story 37. Too lazy to drive up and down the aisles of the parking lot to find a spot close to the store. Park way back, find a spot faster, have more room to load and unload, and get your steps in. Seems like it works to me. Story 38. I do everything little by little. Need to clean the house? I will take a little time each day to get it done instead of wasting an entire day off. Takes longer, but I am spreading the time over a longer period, which drastically reduces my stress. Story 39. I never pay for parking in my city. When I do get a ticket, which rarely happens, I am never upset. I consider it as balancing out all the times I parked for free. Story 40. The no-zero rule. Don't want to do something or feel like you can't. Do a little. Learn new words in the language you are studying instead of a whole lesson. Do 10 jumping jacks instead of a full workout, and so on. I am either into it enough to keep going after that or satisfied and did not break my inner streak, so it is much easier to continue the next time I need to. Story 41. Using the 2-minute rule but with a lazy twist. If something takes less than 2 minutes, I still do not do it immediately. I batch a bunch of 2-minute tasks and complete them all at once when I feel slightly guilty about procrastinating. It feels lazy because I delay small tasks, but it actually helps me avoid context switching and stay focused longer on deep work. Plus, completing 10 quick tasks in 20 minutes feels very productive. Story 42. Archiving is 99% waste of time. The problem is to prepare for the 1%. I bundle all my papers chronologically because I usually have a good idea of when the item I need is, in rough terms. I would rather spend 1 hour going through 3 months of unorganized material than spend time organizing things I will never need to find again. Story 43. Do what works. I struggle to take trash from my counter to the trash can across the room. It breaks my focus and flow. So instead, I hang a bag on the closest cabinet handle and put the trash in there. Once that is full, I toss that bag. I keep things in what might be considered odd places because of this. Get rid of extras. I have a limited amount of silverware, plates, towels, bed linen, clothes, and so on. I run out faster, so I have to wash them. They cannot pile up this way. Story 44. I am not lifting things if I can use a dolly, a trolley, or some other wheeled assistant. I want to save my back. Story 45. I switched to using my fingers to apply makeup foundation instead of brushes to save the hassle of constantly washing them. It turns out that using your fingertips gives a perfect airbrushed finish. Story 46. Toddler parents, if your toddler needs to be dressed for something the next day, do not bother with pajamas. Bathe them at night and put them in the clothes you plan for them to wear. This is one less thing to deal with when you are inevitably running late in the morning. Story 47. I say to myself, I might as well, when moving through my apartment, doing things that take 2 minutes when I am in front of them. Story 48. Filling up the sink and letting the dishes soak for around half an hour to loosen residue. Usually, no hard scrubbing is required. Story 49. Take a nap in the afternoon for 10 to 20 minutes. It may seem lazy, but it increases productivity, improves memory, and boosts mood. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration has proven that a short daytime nap increases efficiency by 34%. Story 50. I set an alarm for tasks I do not like doing. For example, I hate reading and replying to emails. So, I set an alarm once in the morning which I finish in 20 minutes. Another alarm is set for after lunch, which I complete in 5 to 10 minutes. Then, I set another alarm at 4 p.m. to make sure nothing is left unread. Story 51. I never make the bed because I do not see the point. Then I found out that some scientific study concluded it is healthier not to make the bed because it allows the bed to dry out better during the day. Story 52. If I start any new project or task, I have to see it through to completion. There is no alternative. The solution I came up with is to avoid starting any new projects or tasks. Story 53. At work, when we introduce a new process or a new way of doing things, I procrastinate on starting anything. Then, when people have started, I listen to their feedback about how they began, roadblocks they encountered, and issues they faced. This way, when I start, I know immediately what to avoid and what not to do. Story 54. Tackling a difficult problem at work tomorrow. Instead of stressing out immediately, I just say, let tomorrow's me figure it out. 9 out of 10 times, I figure out the solutions while driving to or from work the following morning or while showering. Story 55. Before I clean my tile shower, I vacuum it while it is still dry before I actually spray anything, so I am not moving wet hair around while I scrub. Story 56. My memory is poor, and I tend to manage things day by day as I see them. This makes certain weekly, bi-weekly, and annual tasks hard to keep up with consistently. My simple solution is the regular use of reminders. I have set reminders to vacuum, wash sheets, water plants, and so on. I also set annual reminders to perform maintenance tasks around the house and plant certain seeds. Story 57. Leaving things out so I do not forget about them. Yes, my counter is very cluttered. That bill will sit there for a week until I get around to paying it. But if I put it away, it will definitely not get paid. Story 58. Put your underwear and socks in a mesh bag before washing. Once it is done, place them in a drawer and never have to fold them again. Story 59. I have my groceries delivered by Walmart for the yearly minimal fee and hire a very affordable maid. I am quite lazy, but life is too short to clean and grocery shop. The money is worth it, and although I have a single income and not a lot of money, I have found that the peace it brings me leaves me time for life. Story 60. I always clean when I am on hold to speak to customer service. It is amazing how clean your house gets during a long phone hold. Story 61. I do not have a television anywhere except in front of the treadmill. The only way I can watch shows is if I am on it. Story 62. Wearing the same work pants 2 days in a row so I do not have to rethread the belt. Peeing and brushing my teeth at the same time in the morning. Story 63. Top sheets are actually good because they make it so easy to remake your bed in the morning. A quick flick and you are good, basically. Story 64. I don't know if it's laziness, but if you are working on something for a while and just can't figure it out, ask someone, preferably a friend at work, for help. Chances are, the minute I ask someone else to look at something, I will find the issue. Story 65. You save a lot of time and money by not caring about what people think of your appearance, home, car, and so on. Story 66. At work, I park in the same parking spot every day. even though it is a bit farther away. I never have to think about where my car is parked after a shift. Story 67. One of those little grabby claw sticks, like those advertised to elderly people to reach things. Turns out anyone can use them. I got one for cleaning up litter and I use it all the time. Stuff stuck under or behind furniture. Grabby claw. Have to do a bunch of repeated bending. Grabby claw. No back pain or faintness. Putting off a chore because I have to touch something gross. Grabby claw. Total game changer. Story 68. I have always found getting dressed really hard and stressful. So I created a uniform for myself that I wear every day. Not literally the same clothes, but a go-to combination that I know I feel good in and looks put together. It saves me time and mental energy. Story 69. Laying out tomorrow's clothes the night before feels lazy in the moment, but saves decision fatigue and starts the day 1% smoother. Story 70. Folding towels and washcloths is a waste of time. Get a small basket for the washcloths to keep them separated and just toss it all in. Story 71. I do grocery pickup for most of my shopping, but I go in to select my produce and meat. This saves time in the store and helps avoid impulse purchases. Additionally, the store shoppers are not good at selecting produce and meat. Story 72. I no longer clean any dish or pan before putting it in the dishwasher. Old caked-on food? Do not bother soaking or scrubbing. Just put it in the dishwasher. 9 out of 10 times, the dishwasher removes everything, even the stuff I thought it would not. When there is residue left, just put it through the dishwasher again with the next day's dishes. Story 73. Grocery delivery every week. Unlimited, $35 per year, right to my door. I have to go in for my Heineken 0.0 since it is considered alcohol despite its lack of alcohol. But that is it. I have saved so much time. Story 74. Doing the smallest thing. If I need to clean the stovetop and cannot face it, I lift off the pot stands and sit them on the bench. The next time I am in the kitchen, cleaning the stove happens almost automatically because my brain thinks I am finishing a task, not trying to start one. Story 75. Turn chores into games. I thought it was silly when first recommended, but beating my own best time to fold laundry does feel oddly good for the serotonin part of my brain. I started doing it with dishes and picking up too. Story 76. When someone gives you a task, do not just jump to it. Spend a few minutes thinking about it. It might look lazy, but you could avoid some pitfalls and find a more efficient way of completing the task. Story 77. Just wash everything in cold water using a normal cycle. It works well, saves time, and your clothes will not bleed. Story 78. I put all my monthly work tasks in an Excel spreadsheet organized by deadline. I never have to think about what I have to do. I just look at the spreadsheet and complete the tasks in order of their deadlines. This approach removes much of the uncertainty and deliberation from completing tasks. Story 79. Use a mulching lawnmower with a bag attachment to both cut the grass and rake the leaves at the same time during the fall. Apparently, taking an hour to complete 2 tasks rather than spending 6 hours manually raking and bagging the leaves before cutting the grass is considered lazy. Story 80. Only works if you live alone, probably, but get dressed straight out of the dryer or from a pile of clean clothes. If you don't have to fold or put away laundry, it is barely a chore. Obviously, there are certain fabrics that you cannot buy unless you want to give them special treatment, but it is fine for most clothes. If something is wrinkly, throw it back in the dryer with a wet washcloth for 10 minutes. Story 81. Ignoring fashion trends and rotating essential pieces in the same colors. Pants. Navy, black, gray, khaki, pinstriped black, pinstriped navy, pinstriped gray. Blazers or cardigans. Black, gray, cream, navy, teal, eggplant. Shirts. Black, gray, cream, navy, teal, eggplant, and a couple of patterned shirts. Small polka dots and tasteful florals work with almost everything. One signature watch, a mix of stud and hoop earrings, and simple chain necklaces with interchangeable pendants. Once you have this wardrobe, you will never have to worry about dressing for work again. Most pieces are interchangeable, and mixing them up means you will never look the same. Add inexpensive hair accessories, scarves, or belts to have fun with it. I prefer dresses and cardigans because I find them the most comfortable, but I essentially follow the same plan. Story 82. Naps. If feeling a little sluggish or not as sharp, take a 15 to 20-minute nap and your brain will reset. Sometimes I have taken a 4-minute nap and had the same effect. Story 83. You don't have to do a full chore all at once. You can clean a few dishes with the water running while you wait for the microwave. If you only have energy to clean half the bathroom, then do that. Some of a job is better than none of a job. Story 84. Exercise habit. If you have access to hills around you for walking as exercise, try to walk up them as fast as you can. That way, your duration of effort is shorter, and you end up getting a better workout. Why jog for an hour when you can get the same workout by walking up a hill quickly in 2/3 of that time? Fighting gravity is an advantage. Story 85. I started getting my groceries delivered most of the time. It forces me to plan my meals ahead, and I do not add as many extra items as I often do when I shop in the store. Story 86. Start the washer, dryer, and dishwasher. Then fold laundry while watching television, sitting on the bed. This keeps me feeling productive while enjoying my show. Story 87. May sound not lazy, but getting everything done well ahead of time allows me to be very relaxed and maintain video game uptime in my 30s. A mentor told me, if you want to be lazy, just get everything done, and you can be as lazy as you want. And that advice has always stuck with me. Story 88. I have a list on my phone of all the meals I commonly cook, split into categories: soup, pasta, Asian, Mexican, breakfast, salads and sandwiches, American, and other. Pick a meal from 5 different categories, and meal planning for the week is done. Story 89. Plan meals for the week in advance so we have what we need and do not have to do multiple shopping trips or decide on the day what we want. Also, do not iron before putting anything away. Only iron if necessary. Story 90. Always empty the car when you get home so there is never anything inside. I wish my wife would adopt this practice. Story 91. Replace the lawn with low-growing native ground cover. Like many others in this thread, it requires some initial effort and expense, but then you can enjoy weekends without mowing or watering. Story 92. A habit that I have started to pick up is for laundry, especially if you are a person who separates their laundry into loads. If you are like me and laundry creates most of the mess, have separate baskets for each load. When you are done wearing something, put it in the basket for the corresponding load or start one if it is empty. Story 93. I learned this from a similar conversation some time ago. When you leave a room in your house, look for items that belong in the room you are going to and take them with you. Story 94. Mostly eating the same things for breakfast and lunch every day saves a lot of time and cognitive effort during the day and when grocery shopping. I found foods that I like are reasonably healthy and most importantly are very easy to make. I have granola and yogurt with berries for breakfast and an egg sandwich on a bagel for lunch. I don't get bored of it because I don't spend much time thinking about it. Dinners or weekend meals can be exciting and different. I would rather have the extra time and energy during the weekday. Story 95. Hang your clothes on a coat rack beside your wardrobe after you take them off, if you plan to wear them again before washing them. That way, you keep them separate from clean clothes while seeing them first thing in the morning and remembering to wear them within a couple of days before they need washing. Story 96. Lying on the floor with legs up against the wall. It doesn't feel like self-care, but my nervous system is like, thank you. Story 97. Not really a habit, but an entire large tub of plain Greek yogurt, 2 packs of sugar-free gelatin dessert, mixed up, makes 3 work lunches in 5 minutes that are around 130 calories and 25 grams of protein. I add whipped cream to it and it tastes like key lime pie. Story 98. I sleep on a made bed with an additional blanket. I usually adjust the pillows a little when I wake up and then fold the blanket. Story 99. If I cannot find the motivation for a task, I will pretend that I am teaching someone else how to do it step by step. Story 100. Sort out your shorts, underwear, socks, pants, sweats, and other clothing into separate piles immediately after taking them out of the dryer. This speeds up the process of sorting and folding. Story 101. I only own 7 underwear. I cannot let the laundry pile up because I run out of underwear once a week and refuse to go without clean ones. I run the dishwasher every day, even if it is only half full. I turn it on before bed. By the time the coffee maker is done brewing in the morning, I have got the dishwasher unloaded and ready for dishes all day long. Story 102. Using scissors to cut bacon. I have a set of scissors that is washed just like regular cutlery after every use. I keep them in my silverware drawer. Story 103. Do it poorly. It has been a game changer to realize that doing things imperfectly is much more effective than psyching myself out with perfectionism. Story 104. Touch everything only once. I can drop the clothes in a pile, or I can go ahead and drop them in the hamper. It is much less work to touch everything only once. Story 105. It has been particularly helpful to my brain to do chores without a plan. I often find myself saying out loud, "It does not matter what order you do them in. It only matters that they get done." I am very task and efficiency oriented and regularly find myself paralyzed by planning. Cleaning with no plan has been strangely liberating for me. Story 106. I have, after many years of making mistakes, learned to do about 90% of my work up front so I could coast at the end. My college exam weeks were spent in light drinking and reading poor quality novels. I aced almost everything. Story 107. I spend just 10 minutes a day cleaning and organizing each room, and my house is never a mess. I don't feel like I'm living just to clean. Even if I don't finish everything in those 10 minutes, it is enough, and over time, things naturally fall into place. Story 108. Lazy exercise. Are you feeling lazy while trying to reach the remote at the end of your bed? Squeeze your abdominal muscles as you sit up to get it. Do the same while watching television. Lift your lower body into a hover position and hold. Story 109. Don't hang your clothes in your closet unless it is absolutely necessary. Get a bunch of plastic drawers and loosely toss everything you can into those. I wear a lot of sundresses this time of year, and none of them have ever seen a clothes hanger. Story 110. When I lived in a very small, tight apartment, I was a big fan of making your bed as you get out of it. Basically, kick the top sheet back into place at the bottom, then smooth out the parts you can reach. Crawl out of the top and smooth the blanket. Bonus points if you also put the pillows straight as you go. It takes about 20 seconds but makes the room look much nicer. Story 111. I only wash my face once at night, and only if I am wearing makeup that day. That moisture barrier is your friend. Story 112. Loop all the shirts you need to hang on your arm through the neck hole, then out the bottom. Then just grab the hangers by the hook and pull the shirts onto them from the bottom. Saves so much time. Story 113. At work, never act on a request in the first email. Wait until the second time they ask. 90% of the time they never do. Story 114. Clean while you wait. Making yourself a coffee? Instead of staring into space, just grab the kitchen rag and clean something until the coffee is ready. It helps a lot with maintenance. Story 115. I am using supplements for sports. It is not that I need them, but they increase my endurance 15 minutes after taking them. Therefore, I have to start training exactly at that time. Taking a few pills requires less effort than beginning the training. Story 116. Putting my swimsuit under my pillow so I can put it on as soon as I wake up and motivate myself to go to the gym. Story 117. Don't put it down, put it away. I'm constantly telling myself that when I'm about to set something on a counter instead of where it belongs. By putting it where it belongs the first time, I'm not doing more work by having to move it twice. Story 118. Soaking dishes with Bottle Bright. If I do not have to scrub, I am more likely to wash and put away dishes immediately. Story 119. I dump all the clean laundry on the bed, then fold it at night while my husband is showering and I am decompressing from the day. I put the children's laundry in a basket outside my room, and my husband helps put the folded clothes away. By the time I am done, I have watched a television show and unspooled enough of my day so my brain is empty and I can go to sleep. Story 120. Chair or bench in the shower. Last year, I had major surgery and needed either a handicap-accessible bathroom or a chair in the shower. Now, I use the bench in the gym shower. Who says you have to stand the entire time? It is much easier to shave your legs. The shower is more relaxing after an exhausting day. Story 121. I'm not sure it's really lazy per se, but the idea of mise en place is so fundamental to my life now that it saves a lot of anxiety. Everything is just where it should be and ready. Can come off as lazy sometimes because it involves extra preparation up front, but it's the best way to do things in my opinion. Story 122. I don't separate laundry by color. I throw every color in the washing machine, and I've never had it ruin any of my clothing. My white clothes are still white. Story 123. When I am on a cut, I eat the exact same food every single day. It tastes good and has a good variety, so I get every nutrient I need. I only need to calculate my macronutrients once. That way, I get exactly the calories, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates I need with very little planning or effort. It makes shopping a breeze too. Plus, I never have to worry about what is for dinner. It is the same thing. Meal preparation is very easy. Story 124. I wash the dishes immediately after using them. You might think that the lazy way would be to forget about them for a while and wash them later, but that takes more effort since the food has dried by then. Story 125. Just use a slow cooker for simple dishes. There are many recipes where you can throw a few ingredients in with minimal preparation and let it cook on low for several hours while you do other things. I make a 16-bean and pork soup where the most work I do is dice an onion and add several cups of water. Then I relax. I usually start it before bed. Takes about 8 to 10 hours. Story 126. Wait for difficult situations to play out. They will inevitably unfold, often with unexpectedly positive outcomes. Story 127. My skin has improved significantly since I started washing my face less. I used to wash it twice every day, but now I only wash it while showering or to remove makeup. Story 128. Do not fold your clothes. Just take them straight out of the dryer or hamper. I have not folded clothes in years. Story 129. Keep a note in your phone of things people mention wanting, especially your significant other. Then, when an occasion arises, you have a list of possible gifts. Story 130. I shove clothes that do not wrinkle into drawers unfolded if I am in a hurry. I know where to find them, and they are tucked away neatly as far as anyone else can tell. Story 131. Throwing dirty clothes down the stairs so they are closer to the laundry and I do not have to go downstairs. Story 132. Finding the easiest way to get something done. Maybe laziness, maybe efficiency, but either way, it is easy. Story 133. Makeup and mirror right next to the bed. There is no need for me to get out of bed to get ready until I need to be dressed. This helps a lot when you are someone who struggles with transitions. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.